Good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to begin with a question. Have you ever looked at a landfill site? Not in a photograph, not from an airplane, but ever actually stood beside it and experienced the smell, the sight of mountain of waste, the birds hovering over it, the plastics fluttering in the wind, and the smoke rising. So when I stood for the first time beside a landfill, I wasn't shocked by its sheer size. I was shocked by a thought. Every single thing which was here at once belonged to somebody. Now let me ask something else. Who created that mountain? Was it one careless person? Was it a colony? Was it a single factory? No. This mountain was created by millions of ordinary people making ordinary choices every single day. One bottle, one tissue paper, one food container, one straw, one plastic bag, one disposable cup, one at a time. And guess what? This gives me hope rather than despair. Because if millions of small actions can create this big a problem, then millions of small actions can actually solve it too. And people often tell me, I'm only one person. But the fact remains that changes never happened by the crowd. It always began with one person deciding to act, one person refusing to bend down, one person doing something differently, and one person questioning the norms. Every revolution, every movement, and every single great social change started with that one person who refused to believe that one individual could not make a difference. Let's talk of something incredibly simple, a cloth bag. People often say, what's the point? One single cloth bag cannot save the planet. Really? Let's do the maths. If one single individual switches permanently to a reusable cloth bag, he or she can avoid over 500 single use plastic bags every single year. Now imagine a family of four such people that makes it 2,000 single use plastic bags diverted from the landfill site. And now imagine an apartment complex with 500 such families, and then a city, and then a country. That is how change works. We often underestimate the power of multiplication. You think about only that one bag today. You're not thinking about a weeks or a months or a years. Or you're not thinking about your children watching us. A child who watches you carry a cloth bag today will eventually grow up believing that's just the usual thing to do. So, habits don't just reduce waste. Good habits build new norms, and these new norms build stronger communities and eventually a stronger nation. Globally, every single day, a billion of meals are wasted. Now, nobody throws an entire billion meals. We throw away half a chapati, or maybe one forgotten tomato, an overripe banana, two spoonfuls of rice, a bowl of curry. The crisis isn't created by huge acts. The crisis is created by millions of tiny ones. Finishing the meal in the plate, or planning your grocery, or using your leftover isn't just good housekeeping, it's also climate action. You know, the biggest threat to our planet is what? It's the belief that someone else will save it. The waste which is generated in your homes actually belongs to you before it belongs to anybody else. And what is waste? Rather, when does something become waste? A shirt that I no longer wear could exactly be something that somebody else needs. An old armchair could furnish another home. Food waste can actually be converted to compost or to biogas. Plastic waste can beautifully be transformed into a park bench. Paper waste becomes a notebook. So, discards are rarely useless. They are simply a resource sitting in the wrong place. 8 years back, my colony, my community, Navjivan Vihar, asked a very simple question. What if every household starts to segregate its waste? There was no expensive technology, just simple conversations, meetings, patience, persistence, and perseverance. One household started. It didn't seem like history in the making. It was just one family deciding to try it. Then another one joined, and then more. And something unexpected happened. A child reminding his parents as to which waste would go in which bin. A resident who had once told us this is never going to work now became our strongest advocate. Somebody stopped me in the middle of the road simply to tell me, thank you. We look at waste very differently now. A mother of a 2-year-old child writes in the colony group, my daughter throws banana peel in one bin and chocolate wrapper in another one. And then came that moment that meant most to me. I realized that the community had started changing even when I wasn't there. People were reminding each other, helping each other, and correcting each other. That is when I understood that behavior change doesn't happen when one person keeps doing the talking. The behavior change happens when a community owns up an idea. Today, Navjivan Vihar has diverted over 10 lakh kilograms of waste from the landfill site. Not because we had a miracle machine, but because thousands of daily ordinary choices changed. Lately, I started a project called Vikalp. We all go to the market. Why do we accept plastic bags? Because we are not carrying a cloth bag from home. I will not blame you. Convenience of not carrying something, right? What if you could borrow a reusable cloth bag from the market itself? Will you still then accept a single use plastic bag? No. Today we have 1.75 lakh cloth bags in circulation across 1000 Vikalp stores in Delhi. But I still think of a different number, and that number is one. That one consumer who's standing at the shop being asked, would you like a plastic bag? And he says, no, thank you. That is exactly where the environmental change happens. Not in the conferences, not in the policies, but at the checkout counters, at your kitchen sinks, at your dining tables, at your home. Sustainability requires awareness. Carrying your own water bottle doesn't reduce your quality of life, does it? Taking a shopping bag doesn't make shopping harder, does it? No. Repairing instead of replacing doesn't make you sound poorer, does it? No. The best part is that most of these small sustainable habits will not cost you anything, and yet collectively they change every little thing. So, let me also tell you that behavior is contagious. You start composting, you start carrying a tote bag, you start carrying a water bottle. People would notice, people would follow. Margaret Mead once mentioned, never doubt a small group of people can actually change the world. I'd like to add, never doubt what one single committed and thoughtful citizen can start. And every bit matters. Every bottle, every wrapper, every meal, every conversation, every choice, every habit. And I'm not asking you to become perfect environmentalists. Just small habit changes. Finishing the meal in your plate, segregating your waste, repairing something, refusing to buy something that you don't actually need, carrying your own tote bag and water bottle from home, and then repeating this act again and again. Why? Because consistency is more powerful than intensity. Imagine if each one of us sitting here inspires just one more person. That is where the movement would actually start. And the next revolution in environment sector shall not happen by superheroes. It shall happen by each one of you, each one of those millions of people making extraordinary choices. From one bag comes one family. From one family comes one community. From one community comes one city. And then one whole changed world. So never say, I am the only person. Say, I am that only person who actually decided to start. Jai Hind.